Hi guys, it's Moa aka Swedish Whiskey Girl. Hi guys, it's Moa aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and we're here today with a Taiwanese whiskey. So it is this lovely Kavalan Vinho Barrique, which actually won the world's best single malt at the World Whiskey Awards in 2015. So this is part of the Kavalan Solist series, which is their cask strength whiskies, and this particular expression sits at 59.4% ABV. It has been matured on American oak barrels that's previously held both red and white wines. And I think it's a really interesting fact that in Taiwan, where the King Car distillery, which Kavalan is made at, they actually have an angel share of almost 12%. So the angel share is the natural evaporation that happens every year. And in Scotland it's about 2% every year, but in Taiwan it's almost 12%, which is heartbreaking. I think the angels just really love whiskey. Just take a bit too much perhaps. But they do actually spray or mist their warehouses with water to try and minimize the evaporation. So it's quite interesting that in hotter countries you tend to have more water evaporating than your alcohol, so you can actually see an increase in ABV, for example in some places in America. And in more humid climates like in Scotland, you will actually lose more alcohol than water, and that is when you get a decrease in your alcohol percentage. But let's have a little look at this one. It's just so powerful on the nose. It's like an explosion of like scents just coming in, and it's gorgeous. It smells like kind of vanilla coffee beans perhaps. It's like if you flavored coffee with vanilla, like fresh, really genuine, real vanilla. This is kind of what we get on the nose. It also has a lovely kind of rich dried fruit aroma, almost like dried mango. I get a similar note from the Bladnoch 10 actually, so that kind of dried mango note. It's just very tropical, and it reminds me of intensities that you would find in bourbon, so kind of a maturations that's happened in a hotter climate, where it's just this kind of big so you know when you leave a plane, if you've flown somewhere and you're from a colder country, for example like Sweden, where I'm from, or Scotland, or anywhere here kind of in the northern parts of Europe perhaps, then when you leave the plane, and if you're in a hotter climate than you're used to, you get this kind of big wave of heat, this humid heat just hitting you. And if you had really ripe kind of dried fruit flavors in that heat, it would feel very kind of humid and very kind of surrounding you, and like this big kind of punch. That is how I describe this scent. Just kind of, yeah, it's just has this big flavor. Let's have a taste of Slangeva, or perhaps Kampai. You get this drying sensation because there's a lot of tannins in this, but then the saliva production just kind of takes over because it's so mouth-watering. So many, like that dried mango and almost like a dried pineapple, because you get that sweetness. And with the oak tannins, it makes it a really nice balance. This almost feels like if you had a PX wine and you took away some of that raisin notes and you took away that kind of super sweet note and you subdued it a bit. That's kind of what I get on this. It does feel like it would be a dessert wine or something. It's very tropical and very big in its flavor, but also has that kind of subdued layer of humidity around it. It's difficult to describe it, but if you know something where the air is super fresh and feels super clean and feels super kind of dry, then you get this kind of fresh notes, like when you have chewed gum that is like minty and you just get this really fresh breeze. But this really has that kind of humidity, like there's something in the flavours that kind of subdue them a bit, and I feel like this is the strong humidity around it. If you understand what I mean, please let me know in the comments below, and if you don't, let me know and I'll try and describe it in another way, but I think that's definitely how I would describe what I'm feeling right now. It does have a super sweet note, almost like the sweetness you would get from a rum. That really kind of lovely sticky sweetness. But it also has this kind of leather tone, like fresh leather when you nose. Like if you smell fresh leather, it just has a lovely kind of big aroma as well. Maybe slight coffee bitterness as well from those oak tannins. Overall, I can see why it won Best Single Malt in the World. It is really lovely. I really like the Kavalan Solist that I've tried, and I was lucky enough to try my first one I think about 2 years ago when I was just starting out with whiskey. A really lovely tasting that had both Kavalans, it had some Japanese whiskies like Miyagikyo, and some Swedish whiskies of course as well. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Kavalan. And I mean, the Kavalan Solists that I've tried so far have been really gorgeous, and I love seeing that Taiwan is making whiskey and this kind of influence that their climate and their country has on it. It's very fascinating to me, and it's definitely something different to both bourbon and Scotch. So if you want to explore some world whiskies, this is a good place to start. They are quite spenny at the moment, they are quite popular, and of course that drives the prices up, but if you're lucky enough to get hold of a bottle, I'd say go for it. They're full of flavour and they're just very different to other types of whiskey. So yeah, I can't wait to see what else they will do in the future. But please let me know if you've tried a Kavalan. Have you tried any other world whiskies that you think I should try? What's your favourite Kavalan Solist? Perhaps it's another one of their whiskies. Please let me know in the comments below. As always, feel free to follow me on Instagram, and I hope you'll have a lovely day. Slán Kampai!